You know, 1990. So I asked you the date deliberately because, you know, you go back the years and you see how much a person can achieve in such a short time. A boy at the age of 13, 14, 15, till 15 is told, what is your auqat to play tennis, to play for the country? And then in 1990, at the age of just 17 years, he becomes the junior Wimbledon champion of the world. And that year, 1990, 4 years after being told what is your auqat, he becomes the number one junior player in the world at the age of 17. Do you remember the Wimbledon moment? 17 years. Just tell us about that moment. So let us relive that moment of Leander Paes, 1990, at the age of 17, winning junior Wimbledon. Tell me about the moment.
So 2nd of February 1990, till then, लोग पूछते थे औकात क्या है. तब डेविस कप जीता. तब उसके बाद जून of 1990 विंबलडन जूनियर्स भी जीता. कम लोग पूछते थे तब. तब सितंबर 1991 यूएस ओपन जीता. और कम लोग पूछते थे. मगर 1996 पे, in the summer of 1996, when I won my Olympic medal, then everyone started saying, I told you so.
हमको पता था.
हाँ.
ये लड़का कुछ करेगा.
अरे बचपन से पता था. और मैं क्या कहते थे, हाँ अंकल, आप ही बोल रहे थे कि क्या औकात है मेरा.
You see, magic is something which I find in your career. You are magical. 1996. When he went to play the Olympics in 1996, nobody gave him a chance in hell. He was ranked 126 in the world. How can he win an Olympic medal? Right?
Hell में भी chance नहीं दे रहे थे.
Hell में भी chance नहीं. So, you know, very few people know one thing. Everybody knows the medal, but very few people know about the fact that between the semi-final and the medal clash, your wrist was placed in a hard cast. So his wrist was placed in a hard cast. He had ruptured tendons. Where was it? Where was the rupturing? You play so hard that all his tendons were ruptured. And it was a hard cast. Hard cast means it's serious stuff, right? And I don't know, how did it not matter? Nobody can win an Olympic medal after rupturing tendons in tennis. Between the semi-final and the medal match was a hard cast. So, you know, how did you get there? What motivated you? How did you get over your injury to play that game?
There are two great stories from Atlanta 1996. The first story was 4 years earlier, Ramesh Krishnan and myself had lost in the double quarterfinals in the Barcelona Olympics, in my first Olympics. After we lost, I sat on the bench on the tennis court for 2 hours. Ramesh, being a wonderful Tambram gentleman, sat with me for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, he said to me, Anna, what are you sitting here for? What are we doing sitting here in the rain? I said, see, you are retiring. There is no other junior coming up. How am I going to win this medal? I have seen I'm winning it. How am I going to win? He said, why didn't you ask me 55 minutes ago? I said, but what's the answer? He said, singles. You don't need a doubles partner. Do it in singles. I spent 4 years studying Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain. It was altitude. In that 4 years, I went to every single altitude tournament in Kobe, Japan, Osaka, Japan, Ecuador, Quito, Brasilia, Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Brazil, Colombia. I went the entire world searching for the same altitude conditions as we were going to face in Atlanta. And after 4 years of training, we get to Atlanta, Georgia. Muhammad Ali lights the Olympic torch, one of my heroes. क्योंकि बचपन पे मैं भी कहते थे, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My name is Mr. Lee. And when we got to Atlanta, After the opening ceremony, I'm not taking names of anybody, but the draw ceremony was on the Saturday morning. So we went to the draw to see who I was going to play in singles. And after a whole lifetime's effort of preparing for the Olympics, 4 years of playing in all these countries in the world, Leander Paes, India versus Pete Sampras, USA. कैप्टन बोला कोई गल नहीं बेटा 4 साल बाद फिर से ओलंपिक्स आएगा वही पुरानी बात औकात But I felt inside me this was my moment to shine. So the first story is I couldn't understand how I was going to beat Pete Sampras.
What was his ranking then?
Number 2 in the world. And as Arnab said, I was 128 in the world. I got a wild card into that Olympics. But I couldn't visualize how I was going to lose to Sampras also. I couldn't feel it. But the morning of the match, when I got to the stadium, I had zero strategy. ना देख पा रहे थे कि किस तरह से जीतेंगे, किस तरह से हारेंगे भी. So I got to the stadium only to find out that Pete Sampras USA pulled out of the Olympics because his clothing sponsor was not the same sponsor as the US Olympic contingent. Whew. My favorite Indian word, karma. Instead of Pete Sampras came Richie Renneberg, also ranked in the top 20 in the world. I lost the first set 3-6, I won the second set 6-3, and in the third set, Arnab, I was up 2-1 a break. And Richie Renneberg retired because his lungs were burning. Itne altitude pe, the oxygen is very little. And if you don't prepare your lungs or your muscles, they start burning. And he stopped. India won the first round. Then the second, then the third. In the quarterfinals, I played Renzo Ferdinand from Italy. He was a baseliner, he had no chance. But in the semi-finals, coming back to Dada's story, I was playing Leander Paes, India against Andre Agassi, USA. How to beat him? I asked my coach. He said he hits harder than you. I said, what else? He said he serves better than you. I said, what else? He has a better backhand than you. I said, I'm not asking you what he's going to beat me with. What am I going to beat him with? He said, don't run on the baseline because side to side is too good. But if you run him up and back, that means you're playing your serve and volley strength against his weakness. And sometimes winning is not about talent. It's about playing your strength against your opponent's weakness. And in the first set, Andre Agassi, USA was serving 5-6, 15-40. And he hit a first serve into my body. I played a backhand chip into his backhand corner and I came running to the net. I thought I was very clever. I had the down the line covered. I had the body covered. If he played short cross court, which is the low percentage, I would put my favorite flying man dive, play a drop shot winner. Or if he played a lob over my forehand or backhand side, my legs are strong, so I could get up and smash. I thought I had everything covered. But sometimes in life, you have to respect the brilliance of your opponent. Andre Agassi played the one shot that I wasn't prepared for. Does anyone have a guess? You kids? Where? Drop shot? No, Baba, I was at the net. He was in the baseline playing a two-handed backhand. That's a good guess, not at my legs, but he played it at my face. 240 miles an hour, straight at my right jaw. Now, if it was no racket in hand, I could do this. But the tennis racket is 27 inches. See how weak my wrist is. And when I played it like this, the ball hit the racket at 240 miles an hour. Racket hit my face, racket fell. But in a fraction of a second, I felt my wrist tendon tear.
It was already ruptured?
That was the rupture.
Oh, God.
And I heard the sound. It makes a... And I heard that sound, and the pain that came into my wrist and the swelling was so big that I could not even lift my fingers. Or doctor jo hote hain na, if you can't see, they put numbers in front of your eyes to say, tell me the number. Arey main dekh to na pa raha. If you can't lift your fingers, they say, try and lift your little finger, try and lift your... Arey, I can't lift it. If I could, you wouldn't be on the court. So then, the doctor that was there was wearing an American tracksuit. और मैं तो तिरंगा में खेल रहा था. The doctor said to me, you have ruptured tendons in your wrist. If you continue playing, you're only 23 years old now, you'll jeopardize your entire career. So I suggest you stop playing, come back in 4 years. वो औकात के बाद फिर से आ गया यार. So I told him in the heat of the moment, you are wearing American tracksuit, I'm wearing Indian. You strap my wrist up and let me play. So he strapped my wrist up, I went on to play, but Andre Agassi was too good. He won that match 7-6, 6-3 if I remember correctly. And then straight after the match, we went to the hospital. MRI, 70% partial tear in my wrist. The tendon between the wrist and the elbow. So they put me in a hard cast. Had the next day off. 2 days later, when I came back to play one of my best friends on tour, Fernando Melangeni, in the morning, they cut the cast off. I went to warm up with Mahesh, and as I hit the first ball, the pain was so bad in my wrist, I started crying. Couldn't hit the ball. Because the vibrations of the ball against my racket, which was 328 grams, I didn't have the strength to wield the racket. So I stopped practice, I went into the locker room, trying to wrap my mind and my threshold of pain around the injury. Now the tough part was that the doctors came again and said that you should not play. He said, today I'm American, yes, but your opponent is Brazilian. I'm still telling you, you should not play. I said, thank you. I called my father. I said, Baba, what do you think? And this is the beauty of my dad, is not only is he an Olympic champion, not only a doctor of sports science, but he understands the human mind. He pulled up a chair, Arnab, and he sat between my legs, this close to me. And Baba said to me, it's not about whether I think you should play or shouldn't play. We both know you are mad enough to play. But the question is, how are you going to win? I was intrigued. Baba said to me, spend the first 20 minutes of the match to feel your opponent out. Maybe he's also nervous because he's also playing an Olympic match. Maybe he's feeling the pressure because he's trying to win for Brazil, who've never won a tennis medal before. Maybe he has a Delhi belly. Spend the first 20 minutes feeling your wrist out. In the first 20 minutes, I lost the first set. And in the second set, something magical happened. I got into a trance, what we players call the zone. And when I got into that zone, I couldn't hear the crowd. I couldn't see outside the lines. And I was so focused on this tennis ball, the way it was spinning, that all I wanted to do was to play fast tennis. So that the points were shorter, the points were quicker, to give Melangeni less time for oxygen, less time to think, and also to give my wrist less shots to play. I won the second set. And in the third set, when India was serving 5-4 for the medal, when I bounced the ball twice to serve, this mind, this human mind is your best friend, but also sometimes your greatest weakness. I came out of the trance. And I felt the pain again. And I looked over at Baba, who was sitting in the corner, and he so quickly understood that I was feeling the pain because the tears were rolling down my eyes. I could not see the ball because of the tears in my eyes. Baba told me to wipe my tears and to focus on the game. I hit 5 first serves, 5 first volleys, and in that AV that your team so beautifully put, when I played the volley to Melangeni's backhand, he hit that lob that sailed over my head and went out. And I put my hands up as your first individual Olympic medal champion in tennis.
Yes.